Could I have some water, please? The Filipino woman asked, her voice soft. Excuse me? The flight attendant responded, mimicking her pronunciation with an exaggerated tilt of her head. A mocking smirk crept onto her face. The woman, however, remained composed and smiled politely, simply responding with, "Yes, water." "Oh, water," the flight attendant repeated, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "We do speak English here, you know," she added, almost challenging the woman. Nearby passengers glanced over, some stifling chuckles, others visibly uncomfortable by the exchange. But the Filipino woman didn't flinch. She didn't correct the attendant. She didn't explain herself. Instead, she locked eyes with the attendant, smiled gently, and said, "Thank you." What the flight attendant failed to realize, what no one on the plane knew at that moment, was that this woman, whom she had just humiliated in front of everyone, wasn't just any passenger. She was, in fact, the chief counsel for the aviation board, the very body responsible for overseeing the airline's license. And this flight, this moment, was about to become a profound lesson in humility. Her name was Dr. Amara, a 44-year-old Filipino-American. She was born in the Visayas region of the Philippines and later raised in Northern California. But before we go any further with this story, let me ask, where are you watching from today? Drop a comment below. And if stories like these resonate with you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel because tomorrow, another powerful story awaits you. Dr. Amara had spent her entire life fighting for immigrant rights, championing groundbreaking legislation, and breaking down barriers in federal transportation law. She was sharp, calm under pressure, and far more powerful than she might have appeared on the surface. Despite her success, she didn't fly in private jets. In fact, Amara preferred the authenticity of commercial flights. She wanted to stay connected to the people, to understand their experiences, their frustrations, their struggles. On this particular flight to Washington, D.C., where she was scheduled to attend a closed-door session on airline regulation reforms, Amara had used her personal miles to book an economy seat. She dressed simply, a blouse, slacks, and a laptop bag. She didn't want to stand out, blending in seamlessly with the crowd. That was, of course, until her accent gave her away. From the moment Amara stepped onto the plane in San Francisco, Cassidy, the flight attendant, had been scanning passengers with sharp judgment, her politeness only skin-deep. It didn't take long for her to form an opinion. Cassidy's tone shifted as soon as she noticed someone who didn't quite fit the mold. To her, Amara seemed like the type who might need help with the menu. "Where are you from?" Cassidy asked, feigning interest. "California," Amara replied, smiling politely. "No, I mean originally," Cassidy pressed, her voice a little too eager. Amara immediately recognized the type. Cassidy wasn't curious. She was categorizing. Amara's accent, soft yet distinct, had subtle hints of her native Ilonggo mixed with the legal English she used in courtrooms. Cassidy had even offered help earlier, asking if Amara needed assistance filling out a customs card, despite this being a domestic flight. Now, during beverage service, Cassidy mocked Amara's pronunciation of water, loud enough for 3 rows to hear. The woman saw it all. She saw the man in 18B smirking, the woman across the aisle whispering to her teenage daughter. But Amara stayed calm, not because she was weak, but because she knew when to speak and when to stay silent. 2 hours later, turbulence hit. The fasten seat belt sign blinked on, and passengers gripped their armrests as a loud thud, followed by a small jolt, sent murmurs through the cabin. Cassidy hurried down the aisle, checking latches and muttering under her breath about unbuckled passengers. Then, suddenly, a man in row 22 began coughing uncontrollably. He reached for the call button. Cassidy rolled her eyes and whispered to the flight marshal, "Of course, it's him." The man had a Middle Eastern accent. Amara noticed. So did the woman in 17A. Cassidy arrived with a small water bottle and a tissue, then disappeared into the galley without asking any further questions. Amara, despite the seatbelt sign, calmly stood up and walked over to the man. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice soothing. His voice was raspy. "I have asthma, it's hard to breathe," he managed to say between coughs. Amara reached into her carry-on, retrieved her portable first aid kit, and knelt beside him. "Do you have an inhaler?" she asked. He nodded, wheezing. Amara helped him locate it, waited for him to stabilize, and then called over another flight attendant. Not Cassidy. Moments later, the man was stable and breathing normally. Cassidy returned, pretending to check on him. "I guess he's fine now," she said in a dismissive tone. Amara stood up. "Yes, I'm glad I was able to help." Cassidy forced a smile. "And your Dr. Sison?" "Emergency medical training, legal counsel, and federal aviation advisor," Amara replied gently, her voice calm yet firm. Cassidy blinked. "Advisor?" "Yes," Amara nodded. "I'm on my way to DC to meet with the airline's licensing board, the same board that enforces policies on crew professionalism, cultural sensitivity, and customer treatment." Cassidy's face went pale. "Oh, I didn't know," she stammered. "You didn't need to," Amara responded, her voice steady, but edged with steel. "You just needed to do your job with dignity." The entire row fell silent. The man in 18B shifted uncomfortably. The woman in 7E gave a quiet nod of approval. Cassidy tried to recover quickly. "Would you like an upgrade or a complimentary voucher?" she offered, her tone now overly eager. "I'm fine," Amara said, returning to her seat. "But you might want to revisit your training manual, especially the section on implicit bias." Cassidy hurried to the front of the plane for the remainder of the flight, leaving Amara to return to her book, sipping her water, now brought to her by a much more respectful flight attendant. When the plane landed, Cassidy approached Amara once more, stammering out an apology. Amara didn't brush her off, but simply said, "Next time, let your professionalism speak louder than your prejudice." Amara exited the plane like every other passenger, but the story didn't stay on board. The woman from 17A, who had witnessed the entire exchange, had recorded it, not for attention, but because she wanted her daughter to see what grace under pressure really looked like. She posted the video online, accompanied by the caption, "Flight attendant mocks Filipina's accent, regrets it when she learns who she is." The video went viral within hours. Comments flooded in. She didn't raise her voice, she raised the bar, and Filipina excellence wrapped in quiet power. The airline issued a statement acknowledging the incident, confirming that the flight crew member was undergoing immediate review and retraining. Amara, however, didn't speak to the press. She didn't need to. She'd shown up at the DC meeting and laid out a new initiative for enhanced in-flight staff diversity training. She helped pass a motion that would include multilingual respect protocols in the industry's best practices. But the true impact of that moment began in row 18. One woman, one smirk, one powerful reminder: never mistake an accent for ignorance. Sometimes, the person you're mocking is the one who writes the very rules you're supposed to follow. So, the next time someone asks for water, with a soft smile and warm eyes, don't laugh. Listen. You might just be talking to someone who's flown further than you'll ever know. Thank you for watching this story. If it moved you, challenged you, or reminded you of the quiet power of respect, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And for more powerful life stories that speak volumes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these voices heard.